next factor that determines the price elasticity is the heading of that determinant is definition of the market. So definition of the market comes under the category and comes under the category that determine that a weather is elastic or inelastic. So here, for example, if you are going to we are going for example, suppose that the elasticity of demand in case of if we are going to define the definition of the market, the elasticity of demand is also depends on the market boundaries. So the elasticity of demand is also depends on the market boundaries. Basically there are two types of boundaries. Listen bache carefully, it is very important. So in this way you also understand that what are the market boundaries. So first is the narrowly defined market. Narrowly defined market. A, there are two types of market. A, narrowly defined market, and B, broadly defined market. So under narrowly defined market, first we are going to discuss the narrowly defined market, then I'm going to discuss the broadly defined market, how they impact the elasticity of the demand. So in case of narrowly defined market tend to has more elastic demand. Why? As it is easier to find close substitute for narrowly defined market. The market is narrow, that's why it is easier for the consumer to find the close substitute in the market. So if so that's why in case of narrowly defined markets, consumer in a position to find the close substitutes. So for example, suppose that ice cream, a more narrow category, has a more elastic demand because it is easy to substitute other desserts. For example, ice cream, for example, sweet yogurts, and etc. So it is easier to find the close substitute of ice cream because it's come under the category of narrowly defined market. Narrowly defined market means you have more options. The options are closer to each other. That's why due to this reason close substitute are available. B, now we are going to discuss the broadly defined market. How broadly defined market impact the elasticity of demand? The broadly defined market tend to has a fairly inelastic demand. Okay, in case of narrowly defined market we have a elastic demand because close substitute are easily available due to because markets are narrow. But in case of broadly defined market tend to has a fairly inelastic demand because there are no good substitute, or you can say a close substitutes are available. Okay, so this category this market comes under the category of broadly defined market where the demand is inelastic. Okay, now we are going to discuss the fourth factor determinant that impact the price elasticity of demand. The heading of that factor is time horizon. So in case how it affect the how time horizon affect the price elasticity of demand. Suppose that goods tend to have more elastic demand over a longer time horizon. Okay, there are goods that have a more elastic demand over longer time horizon, as means the effect come regarding this the effect of these goods, the elasticity of these goods comes into the picture after a longer time horizon. For example, when the price of gasoline, or you can say petrol, rises, the quantity of petrol demanded or gasoline demanded falls only slightly in the first few months. Okay, over the time, however, people buy more fuel efficient cars. You can suppose that like now people after some time, when people say this is the constant dilemma that there is increase in price on a constant basis. Now after some time, now people are going to look people are looking for the substitute of that good that are going to minimize the effect of increase in prices of petrol. So that's why we say that it comes under the category of elastic demand. But also why we use the word time horizon, because the impact came over a longer time horizon. So after a few months there is a slight in start, when there is increase in price, there is a slight decrease in quantity demanded of petrol or gasoline demand. But after a few months or over time, people what people are going to do, they are going looking for the substitute. So people buy more, for suppose people buy more fuel efficient cars, switch to public transport and move closer to the or they shift or move, or they are going to find a house that is closer to their workplace. So that's why people are going to looking for the other options. But this reaction came after a few months. No, there is not a sudden decrease in the demand of these types of goods. That in these types of goods, we took the example of petrol. So there is not a sudden decrease in the demand, like people switch from their own cars to private cars to public transport, you can suppose that. So there is not a sudden decrease in the demand of petrol. People will take some time. After a few months, they are in a position to either they shift from one place to another place, or move closer to their workplace, or they are going to buy a fuel efficient cars, or either they are going to starting using the public transport instead of using their own transport. So within several years, the quantity of gasoline demand falls substantially. So under the heading of time horizon, we say that the demand for goods are it comes under the category of elastic demand. But in this case, people show the reaction like after a few months. In start there is a very slight decrease, but after a few months there is a sudden change in the demand of that commodity that have the characteristics of longer time horizon, means the impact came after a few months. So next topic, we are going to discuss the computing the price elasticity of demand. There are basically the few methods that how to compute the price elasticity of demand, but you have to understand what is the definition of price elasticity of demand. So price elasticity of demand, basically the economists compute the price elasticity of demand as the percentage change in quantity demanded. Listen carefully. Percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. So here it is also explained that along a demand curve, price and quantity move in opposite direction. That's why we call there is a negative relationship between price and demand, and that's why we have a demand curve that have the negative slope. So which would make price elasticity negative. Acha, okay, listen carefully. Here we are going to take the absolute value instead of if there is a negative value with the due to this characteristic, we most of the time we are going to get the negative value, but we are going to ignore the negative sign or drop the negative sign, and we are going to take the absolute value, or you can say the positive value. For suppose that if the after computing the price elasticity of demand, we are going to get the answer -2, that we are not going to consider the negative sign. We just simply write that it is +2. Okay, and this shows that the elasticity is greater than 1, that means the good is elastic. So we will drop the minus sign and report all the price elasticity as positive number. Okay, so you are going, when you are going to calculate this price elasticity of demand, you are going to see that how the number how many times you are going to get the negative elasticity, which you have to convert into the absolute value or positive numbers. So price elasticity of demand basically is the percentage change in the quantity demand divided by percentage change in the price. So you should know that the how to calculate the percentage change. I suppose that every one of you knew that how to calculate the percentage change. So the formula contains percentage change in quantity demand divided by percentage change in price. So calculating the percentage change, but there are different formulas with the help of those formula we are able to calculate the price elasticity of demand. So there are a few problems in the formulas. So step by step we are going we will move towards the most accurate formula that is basically in practice, and it has the less demerits. So that's why we are suppose we will discuss the formulas as it is, like how to calculate the price elasticity of demand, then we comes to the midpoint method, and then the standard method which with the help of that we are going to calculate the price elasticity of demand. Now suppose that up 10% increase in the price of an ice cream cone resulted in 20% fall in the amount of ice cream you used to buy. The elasticity of demand is simply what you are going to do, the 20% which is your price elasticity of demand, so divided by 10% which is your change in, you can see the formula. The formula basically is percentage change in quantity demand. Here in this example we suppose that the price elasticity of, there is increase 10% increase in the price of ice cream cone. So simply write here 10% percentage, and here due to 10% increase in price of ice cream cone, there is 20% fall in amount of ice cream cone demanded. So that consumer basically used to buy. So how you are going to compute the elasticity of demand? Simply 20% divided by 10% is equal to 2. So that shows that elastic demand of ice cream good is elastic. If but also you should know that if the elasticity is less than 1, if the elasticity is equal to 0, we say the demand for a good is perfectly inelastic. If the elasticity is less than 1, we say that there is the good is comes under the category of inelastic demand. Okay, perfectly elastic means 0, perfectly inelastic. But if it is less than 0, less than 1, that means the good comes under the category of inelastic demand. That means if there is a change in price, there is a slight change in quantity demanded. If the demand is equal to 1, we say the good is comes under the category of unit elasticity. Means if like if there is a 50-50 change, means if there is a 10% increase in prices, there is 10% decrease in quantity demanded. So it comes under the category of unit elastic. In case of elasticity, perfectly elastic, the elasticity is comes into the category of infinity. You don't know how much people are going to buy or how much demand going to decrease, or if there is change in price. If good comes under the category of perfectly inelastic, under the category of perfectly elastic demand for any good. So in case of before perfectly elastic, if the elasticity is greater than 1, we say good is come under the category of elastic good. That means if there is a substantial increase or decrease in demand, if there is increase or decrease in the price. So this is the simple explanation of price elasticity of demand. So we again come back to our definition example, that when we suppose that what we have supposed that if there is increase in price of an ice cream cone 10%, then there is decrease in quantity demand is 20%. So we can say that the elasticity of good is elastic, and because the elasticity is equal to price elasticity of demand is equal to 2. So in this example, price elasticity demand is 2, reflecting that the change in quantity demanded is proportionally twice. Okay, 2 means twice as large as the change in price. Means there is change in price in 10%, but the quantity demanding is change in quantity demanded is 20%. That means there is a twice change in quantity demanded as compared to the price. So that's why we say that the demand for that good is elastic. So because the quantity demanded of a good is negatively related to its price, the percentage change in quantity demanded will always have the opposite sign as the percentage change in price. So in this change, percentage change in price is positive 10%, reflecting an increase, and the percentage change in quantity demanded is a negative 20%, reflecting a decrease. For this reason, price elasticity of demand are sometimes reported in negative number, that we have discussed that we are going to change it into positive numbers. So here now we come to the, you can see that here there is a formula calculating the percentage change in prices. Standard method that we have of computing the percentage change is end value or start value divided by start value, or you can say that current value minus previous value divided by previous value multiply by 100. Now you are going to see that here is the quantity demanded on the horizontal axis, and on the vertical axis we have the price. So there are 2 points, point A and B. So there is some problem in this formula while calculating the price elasticity of demand. You are going to notice when we as we are moved from one from this graph to another graph, from going here you can say that going A to B, the percentage change in prices, simply we suppose that earlier the current price is 250 and the previous price or start value you can say is the 200 and divided by 200. So here either you can use end value as a current value, or you can say start value as the previous value divided by previous value or start value. These words are alternatively used in the different textbooks. So here we keep up with this slide, so we can say that end value, here end value is 250, which is the current value basically, and start value which is 250, which is 200 divided by 200 and multiply by 100. The answer we are going to get is the 25%. Going from point A to B, the percentage change in price is equals to 25%. So the quantity demanded here is here we just calculate the change in prices. Now here in case of quantity demanded, we are going to find that the problem, what problem we are going to face. You have to see that problem, the standard method gives different answer depending on where you start. From point A to B, price rises 25% and quantity falls 30%. If you are going to calculate by using the same method, instead of now what you have to do here, instead of putting the value of price values, current and previous value of prices, now you are going to put the current previous the values of quantity demanded. Like here the current value is 8, so you are going to put the 8, and then you the previous value is 12, you are going to put the value 12, and divided by 12 you are going to get the value of 33%. Okay, so first you need to calculate the percentage change of price, and then percentage change of quantity. So when you are going to calculate this thing, you are going to understand that there is a change in elasticity. If you move from A to B, the elasticity is different. When you move from point B to A, the elasticity is different. This is basically the problem in this method. The elasticity should be remain same, either you move from point B to A or point A to B. This is the basic problem that that this formula contains. So that's why we use the another method in order to calculate the price elasticity of demand. So I will discuss in next slide how we are going to